What's up, Warriors fans? It's your main man, Max, here from Warriors Latest. As always, like, subscribe, and hit that notification button as I do post new Warriors content daily. Now, in the last day, I'm surprised because a lot has happened in Dub Nation. And the biggest thing that I've noticed happening wasn't even a move that was made at Summer League. It wasn't a game. It wasn't a statement made by the front office. It was literally a game of golf. Now, recently LeBron James, to really expand his purview of activities that he does, God knows he can do everything, he's taken up golf, much like the guy he's compared to, Michael Jordan. But who else likes to golf a lot? None other than Steph Curry. And they go to a game, they play a game together. And they do well. We know Steph is a great amateur golfer. LeBron's picking up the game, slowly learning it as he goes along. But according to Steph, that's where it happens. But it's not the fact that they play golf together that's the big deal. It's the fact that they play golf together while LeBron is currently trying to figure out his future. And as the saying goes, the best deals happen on the golf course. I couldn't name how many important business deals over the years have been handshake agreed to on the golf course. I wouldn't even be surprised if some of Michael Jordan's deals were done on the golf course. Now, what are you thinking they're talking about? Oh, they're talking about the weather. They're talking about their family. Yeah. But they're going to be talking about, or at least they were talking about, all right, what's your situation, LeBron? What's going on when it comes to, all right, where are you playing next season? And for me, I could tell that they were working out a way to get LeBron to come to the Bay. Now, whether that's convincing him through a buyout, coming to the Bay that way, and then signing a less than maximum deal, and by that I mean a minimum deal, to just sort of play out his last 2 years within the Bay and get those championships that he wants. Because once he gets 6, LeBron's in the conversation. I hate to admit it because as a diehard Jordan fan, I always believe Jordan will be the GOAT. But you know what? If LeBron gets to 6, I think there's a real conversation to be had there. And I think should he play with the Warriors, he will get the 6. Because that is a great team. They're very well built. And like I always say, had Steph not gone down last season, they would have at least made it to the title game. I don't think Oklahoma City would have stopped them because of how experienced that team was and what they brought to the table. Like I say, they were hot as a pistol coming into the postseason, 23-8 from the Jimmy Butler trade and on. And when you have guys that are all on the same wavelength in terms of, all right, there's no personalities, they're all after an NBA championship, you know that team is probably one of the most dangerous in the playoffs. And I think they're probably talking about, all right, let's see. What's the buyout length going to be? Or what's it going to cost? How much money do I have to give back? And I get the feeling for the Lakers, if you want a buyout, you're going to have to give a significant portion back. And I think at least for that discussion, Steph was trying to convince LeBron to give a significant portion back and to sort of entice the Lakers to go through with the buyout. I mean, let's be honest. When it comes to the Lakers, they're really trying hard to move on from the LeBron era. Because what is the LeBron era marred of? All right, first year, go to the lottery, end up with a top 4 pick. Second year, NBA championship, that's great. Third year, 7th seed. Fourth year, 7th seed. And year after year, it's been 7th seed, 7th seed, 7th seed until it was the 3rd seed this year where they got bounced in the first round. So whatever's happening in LA, it isn't working, regardless of the talent they put around him. It's just not working. And LA's got bigger fish to fry right now. Getting a little money back at least will ease the burden because they have LeBron coming off the books. They have Austin Reeves, who they're likely going to trade. They want to sell high on that guy. And I'm not saying he's a bad player, but he's not the kind of guy that you want to pay $30 million a year to. He's a great player, but he's still just a role player / starter. I'd rather give that money to Alex Caruso knowing what he brings to the table. You have to bring certain intangibles. And I've watched some of Austin Reeves' game, and I'm not really convinced of it. Yeah, he scored 20. I just don't see it. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Who knows? But back to the golf course. Yeah, they were definitely discussing like how they were going to maneuver to make this happen. Because we all hear the stories of how how him and D Wade and Chris Bosh tried to maneuver to be on the same team, and then eventually ended up on the Heat together, where they won 2 championships in 4 tries. So I wouldn't be surprised if something like this happens, and then things really start to heat up in the coming weeks, and then LeBron's like, August, you know what? Genie, I'm out. Buy me out. Here's half the contract back. I don't want it. I just would like to be out. And then they're like, all right, LeBron, best of luck. And then they go do their own thing now that they have an extra $25 million on their books, or off their books, excuse me. So I could definitely see that happening, and I wouldn't be surprised if Steph and LeBron made that handshake while they were on the golf course. Now, the other big thing that happened the other day was that social media video that circulated everywhere, which was Giannis talking about, okay, people are saying, oh, go to the Knicks, go to the Knicks, go to the Knicks, and he's like, not really sure. I like it there, but the taxes are crazy, and I'm not about that life. So I think that pretty much says the Knicks are out of it. But at the end of the video, he does say, if I stay in Milwaukee, he responds by saying, maybe. That's a very telltale sign. If he only is saying maybe after some of the moves that the Bucks have made, that just tells me, all right, he's still in play. Even if the Bucks make those moves, he's still in play. Maybe that the way they released Dame Lillard did affect him to the point where he's just not sure of management anymore. Or maybe he's just still waiting and seeing what happens in terms of the moves that the Bucks can make. But I think this still opens up the possibility of Giannis coming to the Bay. Now, I think this may also factor into why Jonathan Kuminga's deal is taking so long to get done, because they're waiting to possibly include him in a signing trade for Giannis, even though they would have to add a bunch of other players and get other teams involved. But I'm just sort of waiting and seeing, because it makes more sense that they would wait on Giannis, because the offers they've gotten for Jonathan Kuminga haven't been great. I mean, I could definitely see that, but I just don't know if it's worth the wait, because of how much maneuvering needs to be done in order for the Warriors to acquire Giannis. Because yes, it's going to cost Moses Moody. Yes, it's going to cost Pods. Yes, it's going to cost Buddy Hield. Yes, it's going to cost Kuminga. But there's still money left over. It's going to cost draft picks too. God knows how many, and then some. You're going to have to find a third team to add in extra cash to offset Giannis's contract. And while I do like that, they get Giannis as all right, it's Steph, Jimmy, Giannis, Draymond, and then eventually probably Al Horford, and everybody else is on minimum deals where it's full-on 08 Boston Celtics mode. I'm not sure it's going to happen, or it's worth waiting around for, because there are definitely going to be other teams that put up better offers, and it remains to be seen how good those offers are. Now that Houston is out in terms of what they can offer, I could definitely see him going to Miami if he does leave Milwaukee. Because Milwaukee, great place, but Miami's better. And if he was talking about taxes, he's definitely business savvy, especially knowing that Florida has no state income tax. And we have heard many players in the past sign with Florida teams, regardless if it's the NFL, Major League Baseball, or the NBA, specifically for tax purposes. Now, don't get me wrong, they aren't the only state that doesn't have no income tax. You also have Vegas, you also have Washington, or Vegas, but Nevada, and you also have Tennessee. Those are 4 other places. Now, out of those places, Seattle and Nevada don't have a team, but the Grizzlies do. Granted, I don't see them making a move for Giannis, because they did just re-sign Jaren Jackson Jr. as well as trade away Desmond Bane. So I just don't see that happening, but it just goes to show Giannis is a lot smarter than people give him credit for. He does care about the business decisions as well as the team environment that he is a part of. So don't be surprised if the Warriors go after him, yes, but they lose to Miami because of those tax incentives. Now, speaking of free agents, the one thing that annoyed me yesterday is the Warriors lost out on another buy low big man. And that big man was Marvin Bagley III. He got re-signed by the Washington Wizards, who he played for at the beginning of last year before getting traded to the Grizzlies. And it's frustrating to see because he was such a great buy low player and he offered so much to the Warriors that it was beyond measure. He's a 7-footer. Yeah, he could stretch with the mid-range a little bit. Maybe not so much the three, but he's still a big guy that offers value. And when put into the position to succeed, he can be successful. Say he did sign with the Warriors, he wouldn't be expected to score a lot. All he'd expect to do is grab rebounds. And that's something the Warriors need in large quantities right now. So it's just frustrating to see because this Giannis deal is holding everything up. Waiting on Al Horford, holding everything up. These bad deals for Jonathan Kuminga, holding everything up. But it doesn't mean you can't just go out and sign some minimum contract player. They're already looking at DeAnthony Melton. They're not going to give DeAnthony Melton that much because they don't have much to offer. Outside of the mid-level, which they might offer Al Horford, they can only offer minimum deals. And if DeAnthony Melton's going to take that kind of a deal, then there are a lot of other players who want to play with the Warriors that are willing to take that deal as well. But it is what it is. I'm certain the Warriors are going to find another big man outside of Al Horford to man the middle. So I'm okay with that. It's frustrating to see. Now, bottom line is something's cooking. I don't know what it is, but something is really just starting to heat up. Now, it's slow cooking, but it's cooking nonetheless. And I want to see at least a little bit of movement moving forward. Yeah, we've got the weekend ahead of us, and there's going to be a lot of movement now that Summer League's starting to really take off, and the Warriors are getting there. Whether that be Alex Tui breaking out and having an amazing game in Summer League, whether that be a small deal that is put together that brings in a better player. But something's going to happen. I don't know what it is. I could feel it in my gut. And as soon as that happens, I will be able to sleep better at night, knowing that the Warriors aren't just standing pat and doing nothing, and Mike Dunleavy isn't completely incompetent. So I sense it in my gut, and I'm happy with it. And for Warriors Latest, I'm your main man, Max, and as always, go Dubs.